Hi guys, and welcome to today's SEMRush All Stars Affiliate Takeover, where I'm joined by Mr. Deepak Shukla, and we're going to be taking this 45-minute session to talk about building a digital marketing agency, or let Deepak basically pick my brains. You've got extensive experience, Deepak, in running an agency, good and bad, I'm sure, as many of us can. I'm pretty sure anyone that says they've not run into these problems is purely a liar. But guys, we can also take some questions in the live chat as well if you want to put any questions in the live chat. But make sure you do give this video a like and the channel a subscribe. But before we go into any questions or anything, Deepak, just for anyone who doesn't know what you do, give us a bit of a background of what you're currently doing and what you have done in the past.
Absolutely. So, guys, hello. I'm looking forward to this. I'm an agency owner. My day job, my bread and butter, is servicing clients to help them rank on Google or to do appointment setting effectively. They're the two sides of the agency. I've been doing it for about 4 years now. It's as Craig said, definitely trials and tribulations, experimenting with other stuff. But I mean, the main thing is really what you see on this cap here. So Pearl Lemon, we're an SEO agency primarily that also does appointment setting. And I've been doing that for the last several years.
With varying degrees of success, would it be safe to say?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely made a lot of mistakes, guys. Done a lot of things wrong, from not having as much knowledge as I thought I did in the beginning, to not picking the right type of client, to taking any money that comes. And sometimes it's good money, sometimes it's bad money, and also, of course, you part of it is hanging in there, and eventually through brute force, by getting so many things wrong, you start to hopefully get a couple of things right. But yeah, exactly. It's varying levels of success is definitely right. We'll do anything from maybe our best month, I think, has been about £90,000. We'll do anything between like 60 to 90. It will fluctuate. So that's kind of where we're at. If people are wondering in terms of like, well, what money do you make? I know it's an important question to people, and that's the money that we make.
Yes. Anyway, for this session, Deepak is going to basically try and pick as much of my brains as possible. Not that I'm any great agency superstar or anything like that, but I've got knowledge and experience, and obviously we can bounce off each other and try and give you guys as much value on the agency side of things. As I say, I've been given the opportunity to take over the SEMRush All Stars page today, and just want to try and offer various different bits of value. This will be about agency. We'll have at 2 o'clock, we'll have someone talking about picking my brain on affiliate. Then we can go into the tool and do various other shows throughout the course of the day. But Deepak,
Can I start?
Go for it.
So a question that I've got actually is you could obviously restart an agency right now. I know that, like, how many years did you spend as an agency owner?
Probably 9 or 10.
And what's interesting to me, if I'm being honest, is that you're in a much stronger position today to restart an agency, and you could easily pull similar figures because of your reach. And it seems like such a good fit. Why not?
It's not entirely true to say that I still don't do agency life, to be honest. Now, before I ran the agency myself, and I built myself into the agency and all that kind of fucking stuff, done the day-to-day management, managing the staff, doing all the work, everything. I do now have an agency, and always have done, but my business partner runs it. So I use me as the kind of sales tool, and it goes into the agency, and obviously my team do a lot of the work. So we still do clients, but we only do certain types of clients with certain budgets, and none of it at all has anything to do with me. So I don't do the invoicing, I don't do the calls, I don't do anything. So it all goes through a business partner. So I do still kind of monetize the agency model as such, but day to day, I don't particularly want to be getting involved in all that, just for the obvious reasons.
Well, I guess that we've had several conversations about the challenges of being an agency owner, And do you find that those problems, let's say, you talked about certain clients and certain budgets, do those problems still exist in your agency? And is it just that you're shielded away from it? Do you think those problems can be solved, or it's just the case you've got to be the right kind of person?
No, these problems still exist, but my business partner takes a severe beating on a daily basis, and that's more fun. I think the problem I had before is I set out as a freelancer, hired a content writer, a web developer, a sales guy.
Yeah.
Then I was kind of an agency, but I was still doing the SEO and all that kind of stuff. We never had a team, we never did anything. And I was doing the sales, I was doing the reports, I was doing the invoicing, I was taking the beating from the clients and all of that kind of stuff. And that's where I think, I struggled to grow any further than I did, because, enough's enough. And I think cleverly, I hated it, and obviously my business partner said, no, I can take over that kind of stuff for you, blah, 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 blah. Obviously the part that I've got in the agency is my team. It's my SEO, whatever I believe to be the right methods to use. That's what, that's the way we do it and all that kind of stuff. So I've got that input in terms of the work. I just don't have all that other garbage, and I just get paid at the end of the month, and it's stress-free.
So do you think then, and it's a really interesting point you made about the separation, do you think successful SEO agency owner can be a good SEO, or do you think that they actually contradict each other?
I think they contradict each other 100%. I think when I previously was running my own agency on my own, I felt that my skills and stuff like that were starting to stagnate, and I wasn't, as up to date with all of the kind of stuff that I should be. Like, for example, this morning I have bought a tool called mass.page, which goes alongside the Magic Page plugin, and it's a mass page generation tool. And I actually done a webinar with the guy about 2 months ago, and I just never had time to play around with it and try it out. Now is my time to be able to do that. And although I'm 2 months late with it, if I was an agency owner, I would never get to play with tools, do my own testing, try stuff out, try and better myself and my skills and everything. And
do you think that's a feature of growth though? Like, so for example, the argument that I'd respond with that is saying, well, Craig, you're becoming a brand right now. Most of your time is spent on video. Surely you're suffering from the same problem that you're still going to be managing an organization ultimately, right? I mean, I feel that you've got, of course, a significant amount of growth on YouTube. You have a big relationship with SEMRush. I just wonder whether skill degradation is always the cost of growth. Like, you can't do both. Do you not think so?
No, definitely not. Although people think I do a lot of videos, the reality is I do about 2 lives a week, which is 2-hour-long shows. A lot of the other videos that I've put out there are pre-recorded and stuff like that. And again, I probably spend about 2 hours a week chucking those videos out. So 4 hours out of my week are done making video. Now, in terms of the editing and everything else, that's all outsourced out. The social media, all that stuff getting uploaded is all given to other people. So I actually still do have a lot of free time to try and test things and network with people. I do a lot of consultancy calls and all that kind of stuff, which again just helps my knowledge grow, so to speak. So I'm not as busy as what it may look from the outside.
The perception,
oh man, you're everywhere. But when you're using social media scheduling tools and technology, and you've got someone editing the videos, anyone can make a couple of hours worth of videos. It's the same as you can rattle out 10 videos in a week, easy peasy. I know you probably have an editor as well, but it's a case of spending that time and then throwing it over to someone who uploads it and everything. So it's not actually that much work.
So what would you one of the interesting things you raised there really was like having let's say time management and structure. Where is the divide between how much an agency owner, does an agency owner need to be a better business owner than an SEO, even if they're selling SEO services as an example, or how does it work in your opinion? Because I know that I've learned a lot about SEO from yourself, and I'm like, oh God, man, I should have known this. But then I've got that challenge of, well, you know what? I've also got 7 clients blowing up my phone asking about this report or that. So Like, what's more important for an agency owner to be successful in your view?
I don't think there's either, one or the other that is more important. I think you can be a good businessman as long as you know what you need to hire or who you need to hire or what you need to use. You can have a successful agency. Of course, you do not have to be a skilled SEO to become an agency owner. 100% you don't. For me, SEO is a passion of mine. I do thoroughly enjoy it. I love trying things out and playing with the tools and automation and all that stuff. So I really enjoy it, which is quite sick. I didn't set out to be a businessman or an agency owner, so I'm slightly different from the average person. Where I like that side of it and found myself as a business owner, and that's where the problem lay for me personally. I think, I know many successful guys. You've got Ross Tavendale, for example. Now, he's obviously very intelligent. I'm not dismissing his SEO skills as such, but he is probably more along the lines of a businessman that tries to run a business than a super technical SEO or anything like that. Now, I know he's got great technical skills. I don't mean anything bad by that, but he is the type that is probably more of a businessman than an SEO, in my opinion, anyway, from what I know, Ross. So, and it's similar to you. We've had our conversation where I'm like, fuck, Deepak, why did you not know this, or why are you not doing that? You're more of a businessman than a super technical SEO again. So you can do it successfully, but you have to make sure that you're getting the right people around about you, and they're not, that your processes, your SOPs, and the right people are there. And of course, you can have success with that.
So do you think, let me ask you a different question then, mate. Like, we've got obviously like Gary and Brian in the comments asking about just the agency growth journey. Do you think, because you pose a bit of a conundrum, do you think it's worth it? Because you still have an agency, but it sounds like you're not really, I mean, you found a way that isn't reflective of the large majority for how they build an agency. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it?
100% it's worth it. I think for now, the way that I've got it set up and structured, of course it's worth it. I make money from it. Clients get a good service. I also get like my overheads, my tools, my staff and all that paid for. So I'm a lot more stress-free because all of that stuff's funneled through the agency. So, it's basically been me offloading, the nooses that were around my neck, everyone's wages, all the tools, the overheads and all that kind of stuff. And I've made that partially my business partner's problem. and that's the way it is. And obviously he's hungry to make money and all that kind of stuff as well. So, I think for me, I had always in my head that everything was on me. I had to make all the money and everything was on me. And I've made that someone else's problem now. So he has to be hungry to earn money and all that kind of stuff. So it can still scale that way. So as I say, I found myself in a bit of a weird position whilst doing all of this kind of stuff and really wanted to do affiliate and build a brand and all that kind of stuff at the same time. And I think it was just the perfect model for me to have that. I was lucky to find that business partner. I wouldn't tend to want a business partner too much.
So would you say, for example, like you've talked about that gap? I mean, you must have that problem in your agency then as well, right? Surely, because your business partner is, I presume, by definition, not going to have as much knowledge than yourself because he's busy managing the agency, and you've of course got your team that are running operations. Like, is it something that you vet then? Like, how do you ensure that the quality of the agency work that is done within your agency meets your standard of SEO, given that you're the sales vehicle, but it sounds like the operations you're not involved in?
No, I don't really get involved. I mean, I oversee the operations now and again and all that kind of stuff. However, the people that I've got there, one of the chaps who is the kind of most experienced SEO, he was with me in agency life. He's worked for me for 8 years. So he's a guy that I got fresh out of school, trained him up. The way that I like to work and the techniques and everything I like to use. So he is pretty much the SEO in there, and then we have other people like content writers and link builders and stuff like that underneath him. But again, he is the guy that pretty much oversees everything. Of course, I'm out and about and I'm trying all stuff and everything else. So I'll come in and say, right, we need to add this to our process. I found this tool that does this or does that or helps us with this or that. So again, it's me educating him and then him passing that down the
food chain.
And of course, he still makes mistakes. Is it ever going to be done to the exact standard that I ever want? Sometimes things happen and people get sloppy and stuff like that. But again, you've just got to oversee it, and that's where a bit of management has to come into play. And I've also got my wife, who I trust more than anyone, checking on a lot of stuff. So she knows what to check, and she's worked in my business for about 7 or 8 years as well. Again, just trying to get these people to do all of that kind of stuff to check things out for you that you can trust is essentially what you need to have in place.
How do you feel that with SEO, like let's say moving so quickly, and you're by many measures you're let's say you're at the forefront of it, do you feel that clients I guess the question I'm asking is, I've seen churn that comes and goes. Do you think clients' perception of SEO is more of a commodity more than ever, that, you know what, it's going to take 6 months, but Craig, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to bin you because there's like 10 other agencies lined up? Do you think that as everything evolved so quickly, that's also changed the way that people view contracts?
I mean, it's
or is it shit? Is it shit agency work? I mean, I don't know. I guess I just wonder what the perception that you have is now.
It depends. It's a very hard one because there are agencies out there who do great work. There are agencies out there who charge an arm and a leg and give out absolute crap work. It's a very difficult one. People's perception, the majority of them will have this thing that agencies don't do good work, in my opinion. I've had loads of people who've came to me saying, Craig, I would rather hire you as a consultant, train us, do this because we're sick of going down the agency route. We've been robbed 4 or 5 times now. And they're trying to take it more in-house or get someone or whatever to develop them or train them up. So in my experience, the people that I've dealt with, they tend to come to me after being rinsed by agencies. So I think the general consensus from the people I've spoke to is the agencies don't always do good stuff, but that's not fair to say that for every agency. Of course, there's agencies out there killing it, doing great work and charging appropriate fees and all that kind of stuff. But equally, I think because of SEO and the nature of it, no one really knows what it is in terms of the customers. They don't understand it. It's easy for someone to just whack up a website and kid on they've been doing it for 10 years and take someone's money and run with it for 6 months. I know of agencies that I've trained in the past, and I'm not going to name any names, but their model is just burn through clients. They know that people will fall off after 6 months, and that's why they're heavily involved in the sales side of things. And that's their business model. They just take the money, do very little to no work, and just churn and burn and go through them, and they make millions of pounds doing it. So but I think a lot of agencies on the flip side of that have come to me for training in the past as well, and even now, and they're trying to upskill and do better things for their clients. They just want to spend that client budget a little bit better as well. So I think even agencies now know that the general agencies out there are shit, and they're trying to offer more value.
One of the things that, and this is a question that I think, BizTalk, what's your real name? Because it's what's his name?
Theo. That's Theo.
Oh, Theo, it is. I thought so. So this is quite an interesting one, because I was talking about this with Ross as well. Do you think also that talking about like great work versus crap work versus client perception and understanding the difference, whether they even know? I've got 2 questions. The first one is that, do you think that like agencies reach a natural lifeline anyway, when their value is expended. In the same way that, let's say I spend a month with Craig Campbell, the learning curve, as with everyone, or the value curve does this, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of, because you stop kind of growing in terms of the new things you can add. So do you feel that that's like something that potentially also happens after a set time, where you're like, look, a year will go and you're not going to reinvent the wheel, and some people just want to change their knickers, basically, so you're going to get binned?
To a certain degree, yeah. I mean, it depends on what way you're selling that to a client. Now, obviously, if you go in with a client and, you know, it's, I don't know, some big corporate company, Coca-Cola or whatever, you know, there's always going to be work to do for the next 5 years, you know, implementing this, that, and the next thing. So, of course, there's a lot to do it. But for general businesses, it does stagnate after a while. There's only so much you can get, so much traffic you can get. But if the client doesn't continue with that, they are going to slip off and drop traffic. So I think if you go in with a fair retainer, with a view to trying to keep them for the longer term, that's the best way to do it, rather than trying to screw them out of as much money as you can possibly get for the next 3, 4, or 6 months. You know, put them in a lower retainer and just say, month 1, I'm going to audit. Month 2, I'm going to do on page. Month 3, I'm going to build some links. Month 4, I'm going to go and do some GMB stuff. I'm not saying you have to do it in a particular order, but, you know, you have to rinse and repeat a lot of that stuff. And, you know, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of businesses, whether it be GMB stuff, whether it be, you know, just, you know, even doing schema, trying to implement schema to a website might take you a few months, depending on the size of your website. So there's so many different things that you can do to try and get more traffic. And there's also, you know, changes with Google and stuff like that. So what worked 2 years ago doesn't mean you're going to stick there in the top page. I think it would be naive of a customer to think you can just use someone for a year and you're going to be up there forever more. So I think you just need to keep ticking the right boxes. But I think trying to get them in a slightly lower monthly retainer, make it affordable for them so that they can see value in it all the time, is the best way to look at that.
And one of the things that you just, one of the things I've just noticed through your thread, which I think is also a big thing, like, do you think agencies always need to be selling, as in selling the value of what they're delivering? Because there's always a gap between, well, you're doing something for a result, buddy, that I can't see in 3 or 4 months, and also selling the value of schema. Like, why do I care about schema, Craig? What does it mean? Is that, did you find that to be an ongoing challenge of agency services, that there's always a bit of selling, you know, the new thing, or why you need this? Or, you know, Craig, it looks like you're just, you know, you're getting me 10 links a month. I went on Fat Joe or the Hoff, and if I just buy links, is that the same thing? Like, sometimes that's a challenge that comes up with us, with some of the smaller businesses, and they want to understand what is the true value.
Yeah, I mean, I think client education is important, and you have to kind of sell it to them. You know, what are the benefits of, you know, doing schema or you know, buying links from somewhere else as opposed to Fat Joe or whatever, or doing a different type of link building strategy altogether. You know, from the general feeling I get from customers is they don't have a clue. You know, they don't even know what a website is really. You know, they've always got a you know, half-assed website, and you know, they even saying to them, you know, we need to do schema and it's going to take 2 months, blah 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 blah. They're like, what the fuck, schema? Just do it. Shut up. You know, that's the kind of feeling I get from a lot of customers is a lot of them don't actually care. So I think if you can show someone results in the first couple of months, the job does get easier and the selling becomes less. But I think for that first 3, 4, or even 6 months of doing all of this stuff to get them the leads and the traffic that they think they should get, then I think, you know, the selling has to come less. Because I know a lot of clients after 6 months and even a year just say, I don't even want to read your fucking report. Piss off and just do whatever it is you do. And that's what the relationship I had with a lot of people was, I don't even read and I don't understand what you say and I don't want to know what it means. So I think another thing, you know, just to twist this slightly, is that some agencies sell and try and educate the client, and quite a lot of the clients just say, I don't care, I don't need to know how it works, you know, just fix it. Just do what you need to do. And it's the same as if you service a car or whatever. You just want to go in and get your car serviced. You don't need to know all of these other things that went on. It went up in the ramp and, it went 2 foot high and then the guy unscrewed this and changed the seal and all that. No one needs to know that level of detail. Just fix the fucking thing and let me go. And I think a lot of business owners, not a lot of them, I know some of them are absolute nightmares and they want to know everything you're doing, but I think trying to get them to just trust you and leave you alone means that you can crack on and just do a bit of work. And I think that's where you get the best results. If someone's on your case all the time, you're less motivated to do for them, in my opinion.
And when it comes, so you raise, for me, you raise like an interesting point. Like, what is an appropriate fee? You mentioned some people just rip them off. Like, how does one value, like, the pound value of someone's work?
I mean, you have to look at the competition and the level of SEO that's going on. The two main things with SEO is content and links. And, you have to try and figure out what you need to achieve in terms of content. So you're going to potentially use something like SEMRush and look at the keyword gap analysis. So I'm going to look at your website and say, right, Deepak's got 150 more blog posts than me, and he's getting traffic, from all of these search terms, blah, 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 blah. So I know in the first couple of months, I'm going to have to either write content or outsource that. Either way, it costs money, no matter what way you look at it. So I know in my head that for the next 3 or 4 months, I need to be putting 10 articles a month up. But also, I need to be getting links to that stuff as well. Whether that's you doing outreach, guest posts, whatever you want to do, you need to think and calculate this in your head and say, right, that's going to cost me $1,000 a month to compete with Deepak if I'm going to launch 10 blog posts a month and I'm going to build some links. So that's the fee. That's it. And no two prices are the same. There's a lot of clients you'll inherit or get a hold of who have a ton of content, so you don't need to do that content. So you might spend more of that money on links or whatever. So it's whatever is in front of you. You need to kind of figure it out there, but you just need to figure out there's a cost for everything. There's a cost for outsourcing content. There's a cost for, whether you do outreach or whether you use Pitchbox or whether you get guest posts or whatever. There's always a cost for that type of thing. And Randy Roday's there as well. He costs money. If you want to get some PR from Randy, he costs money. So you've got to calculate all that up in terms of your strategy. And you might say, right, I'm going to buy 5 guest posts. I'm going to do some outreach. I'm going to do some Harrow stuff. And I'm going to use Randy Roday. And I'm going to get one of his cheap gigs, which is like, I don't know, $99 a month. So that's all going to come to £1,000 a month just for link building. That's your link building strategy right there. So that's the way I calculate it. And obviously, you've got to make a profit as a business as well. You're not doing this to spend money. And I think I seen someone else earlier mention how much do you spend improving resources like content and links. Any business, no matter who you are, has to make a profit. And I don't think you should be shy in saying that to people. If your costs are £1,000, why wouldn't you charge 2,000 or 1,500 or 1,750? You, as a business owner, have to make money, have to put food on the table. You don't have to explain that to the client, but your fee is, £2,000 to do a good job. Now, someone else can come in and say, I've got $200 a month and I can, do SEO, blah, 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 blah. They cannot afford the content and links that you're going to be able to get for your price. So don't be scared and charging the right money for the right services, because you can then show that stuff to the client as well. Here's your content, here's your stuff. A lot of these £200 a month guys or whatever have nothing to show a customer at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's really interesting when, as you said, you see guys where there's such wild variances, as you said, from whether it's 200, $2,000 to $5,000, and I guess it's as you said, it's always it's interesting because you pointed out a lot of the kind of hard costs, as you said, that are associated with if you pay this much for a blog, if you pay this much, let's just say you buy a guest post, or if you pay one of your team to help a reporter. Harrow outreach. Do you what would you say are the top 3 things that really pissed you off about the agency space that mean that your relationship with it now is like, you know, 1 or 2 steps back in terms of how it's managed? Like, what are the things that you hear going on in your own agency that makes your business partner want to shoot himself?
I think
Or
it's
you?
all, yeah, I think it's mainly just down to clients. You know, the management of clients and the amount of time that they want to suck up. Again,
Yeah.
when I had an agency, it was all cheap clients and all that. So a guy would be paying you $300 or $400 a month, but he'd be wanting 1 phone call a week. You know, and sometimes he'd even want to pop into your office for an hour to sit down with you, and you're like,
Yeah.
who's paying for this? Like, when do you actually expect for any deliverables to be done? You know, that is the bottom line. Is when do they expect that? And some clients don't like it when you say, mate, we can talk all day long,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, you're on the clock. If you want to sit with me once a week, then the price is just inflating all the time. And that's where I've always been able to scare clients into not bothering me as such, because you just say, listen, it's £100 an hour to talk to me. So
Did you
I'm
lose some clients because of that? Because some people just didn't want that model and they said, okay, well, that's not going to
yeah.
work for me.
I mean, some people will bugger off and, of course, don't see the value in it. They think they should be getting everything for a couple of £100 a month, but that's not the right type of client to have.
Yeah.
You know, do you want a guy that's bleeding you dry? Absolutely. You can't work that way. It's impossible. If you're getting £200 or £300 or £400 a month from a client and he wants to talk all the time, are you telling me that you've got budget left to do content and links? Absolutely not. You just, at that point, you're just humoring that guy and taking his money and doing fuck all and basically telling him anything that he wants to hear. That's my opinion of it. That's all that can be done if you're getting that £400. Surely you're not spending £200 or £300 of that £400 on top of that to get content links. Absolutely not. So
how's your agency structured now? Do you have, for example, an account manager who does all of these calls, like the regular touch-ins? Like, how has your agency changed from when you were managing it, let's say 7-8 years back, to today in terms of the structure? Like, what have been your biggest learnings about how it works successfully today?
I mean, I think, you know, the in terms of my business partner, he is the project manager. Now, as I say, we do not have hundreds of clients or anything like that. You know, we are pretty much you know, specific to maybe like 10, 15 clients tops.
Okay.
Now he has a good relationship with some of them. Some of them do want him to go out once a month and sit and talk the talk with them, and they'll pay for that, no problem at all. There's other guys who just pay and do the odd Zoom call once every couple of months. These businesses are successful and they don't want all the chit chat. They just want to crack on and run in a business. And I think we've got a nice mixture of that. And that's where it's important to be able to say no to those type of clients, because we can say, go away.
You could double that client list quite easily with just the brand that you've got, right? I mean, looking at your whole brand. So what, I mean, for me, it just seems crazy. It's like, why turn away someone who says, look, Craig, I want your team. We got $3,000 a month. Like, just you do whatever you do with it. Like, it seems odd to me that you wouldn't. Why not? If you have 15 and your partner does enjoy running the agency, why not double it? Because you could quite easily, right?
We could potentially do it, but I think, you know, the quality of work would go downhill. Also, what we do have in terms of scaling and all that kind of stuff is we have a link building service which does very well, which is called linksforyou.com. And that particular link building service earns way more than the agency.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what we want to do. So you mentioned, Craig, what are the problems? What are the issues with agency?
Yeah.
It's clients being dickheads is the problem. And now if we sell a specific service like links, they buy one link, they get one link. They pick the anchor text, they pick the metrics, job done. There's a lot less hassle. You don't even need to talk to them on the phone. So they order a link, and within 3 or 4 weeks, they get a message back saying, right, here's your link, that's it. And they can buy another one, or they can buy packages of 10 or whatever. So we are trying still to get away from doing loads of clients. So we have our fingers in a few other pies trying to grow that, rather than take on, if I was to double the amount of clients that we had, we would need more staff, which we don't particularly want to do. Now, I could use the staff I've got as middle managers, which they pretty much are, and we could outsource a lot more of the work. But personally speaking, I don't particularly want to scale the agency to the, making millions of pounds or whatever. What's the point? So it's about doing good quality work at that level and helping the businesses that we've helped over the last 5 years. And a lot of the customers we've got have been clients for the last 5 years. They're not
they're long-term people. So
I regularly get messages from people saying, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? We try and push them towards the link building service just now. Or we'll sell them training or consultancy. We do not want to be taking on a client who needs 100 pages of content and all this kind of stuff. What's the point? Because you do that, they get 3 months in and then bin you because it didn't work, because they simply didn't invest enough, or they had, outrageous expectations. So that's just part of the course. That's just the nature of human beings. So trying to scale that up is just not a sensible thing for me, in my opinion. I think it's always going to be hard.
So for the people, I know that one of the questions that have come up in here, I think it was a little bit further back. For those people that do want to win clients, what's your advice? Ryan, I think at 1216 was saying finding clients is difficult. Focusing on one service is difficult. Competition is difficult. Like, is there a way that you'd say that this is the way if you want to grow an agency and quickly? Like, what is your advice? Is it that, well, sell and figure it out after, or learn and then sell, or what is it in your opinion?
I think, for Ryan, I know Ryan personally, well, not personally, but I know him from online, and I know he does content writing and stuff like that. Focusing on that one service is quite difficult, but finding clients, there's always going to be people needing good content. It's just how you project that. But I think, when I had an agency initially, we used to do web design, pay-per-click, Facebook ads and all that. Now, the agency I've got just now, we only do SEO. We're not interested in designing your website. We're not interested in anything else. We only offer either SEO consultancy, SEO training, or SEO services, or link building, which is still SEO. I'm not interested in getting involved in web design and stuff because it stresses me out. Again, it's just back and forth, and you never make any bloody profit on it, which is why I just go to guys like Paul Hogden, who's in the chat.
Yeah.
And if I get someone that needs a website, I know he's a good designer, and I'll just say, Paul, just give this guy a price, whatever. And I've done that with Paul several times. And
how do you maintain the discipline to say no? I think one of the biggest problems, for example, that even I've got is that you look at other problems that affect your clients, that impact your work. So we'll have clients that have, I don't know, like broken buttons or huge loading time, and it's not our gig. And then, for example, they either ask us repeatedly and it's difficult, they want to pay us, or they've got a team and you think maybe the team's incompetent, or you're like, your page takes like 12 seconds to load and you're an e-commerce business. It's like, that's a bigger problem than us. So like, I'm curious about your discipline, first of all, because that happens to us all the bloody time. So what do you do? And you've probably experienced it right now.
Yeah, I mean, if someone comes to me and their website's like that, I would be saying, go back to your web developer, whoever designed the website, audit the website, give them a whole list of things to fix and pass the buck. Essentially, I ain't getting involved in that shit because, if I didn't design the website, why would I want to take that stuff on and try and fix it? It's like opening a can of worms. You start doing that.
I guess it's the money though, right? Because a lot of these guys that get into agency life, I mean, I don't know how many people, like, you love SEO, which is interesting. Well, I say it's interesting. You clearly have a passion for SEO. How many agency owners, in your opinion, love SEO like you do? Or they see it as a way to build a business, right? Because the argument could be that Ross or myself enjoy building the business more than SEO. So is it that you're of a different mindset, that's why it's so much easier for you, or not? I mean, I'm just curious if you know what I mean.
Probably we are the different mindset. A lot of guys just see the money aspect of it all the time, and I think if you're good at something, the money comes naturally if you're good at it and you're passionate about it. So I've always found that money eventually does come to me naturally. Now I've made money, lost money, made money, lost money, and all that stuff. So probably in a business sense, it's not been the best approach. But I think, with anything in life, and we can use, I don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo as an example as a footballer. That guy, and loads of people will see it as a specimen of a man who just loves football, loves fitness and everything. There's other guys out there who are probably more skillful, but don't care about, they don't have the passion or whatever. They're probably just naturally talented. And I think, having that passion just takes you to a different level, and that is taking someone like Cristiano Ronaldo to a different level. If you live and breathe SEO and, really like it, and I've got a group of friends who are always in WhatsApp arguing about SEO things on a Sunday morning, Sunday night, whatever. It really doesn't matter to them. They'll be like, nah, that tool's shit, look at this, and, they'll argue like it's a proper passionate fight about, all of this kind of different stuff. And I think that has to happen, where I think a lot of agency owners are like, yeah, park that for Monday until Monday, and we'll come back and we'll have a board meeting about it. So I think, if you've got passion for something, just, it carries you a long, long way.
Do you think that then that's something? Do you sometimes, because you of course get approached? I mean, we sit in here, right? I don't know everybody, but some of the people are asking basically about agency growth in general. Are you ever in situations where you look at someone, you hear them, think you're not the right person to run an agency? I don't think that this is actually what you want. I think you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Or like, what is your experience of that when you're advising people? Do you sometimes tell them, no, this is wrong for you?
I have said that to people in the past. I'm not scared to tell people actually what I think, and sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. And, we've done calls where I've probably been quite harsh in your work, or, members of your team or part of your process, where I'm just like, this is dog shit, mate. Like, but if I genuinely want to see you doing better, then, I've got to be honest. And the same, if someone's coming to me saying I'm going to be an affiliate marketer or whatever, and I've had that, and I'm just like, go and learn the basics of SEO first. You just think affiliate marketing's easy, and you're going to make quick, easy money. Or I've had other people, I'm going to do this and do that. You're like, no. You have to do it for the right reasons, and time and a place to do a lot of things. And money motivates a lot of people, and a lot of people are doing it, winging it, or whatever, and doing things, setting up an agency because they think it's a cool thing to do and there's loads of money to be made, and that's the wrong reason to be doing it. You've got to kind of have something. As you said, you've been battered from pillar to post, building an agency, and that's you with some form of knowledge. People come into this industry and just start running agencies and have no knowledge at all. So they're getting even more battered from pillar to post. So it's, it's sad.
Do you think that, would you say that, was affiliate marketing a purposeful switch for you when you wanted to get out of agency life? Or was it, I just want to get out of agency life, I'm not quite sure what's next?
No, I always liked Matthew Woodward, and the model that he had, and I wanted to be the next Matthew Woodward, just making affiliate money. He made it look easy, and taught me a lot. When I say taught me a lot, I just read a lot of his stuff, and I've been fortunate enough to meet him several times as well, and learned a lot from him as a person as well. But I just wanted to be him. I'm sitting working hard in an agency, no days off, working late at night, and Matthew was running around, spear fishing and all that stuff, over in Costa Rica, earning money while he was doing it. And I'm just like, man, I'm doing this all wrong. And that's something that you see with a lot of people. Other guys are making money and it just seems to come easy to them. And you're just like, God, I need some of that. And, same for you. You probably see lead gen or whatever, and you're just like, man, that guy does it really well, does it so easy. That's what we want to be. We want an easy life here.
Would you say easy money's a myth though, right? I mean, is affiliate marketing easy? I mean, if I was to say, is it easy? Is it that just you were not the right fit for agency life and that's why it was hard for you, or in general? Because in every industry, there's people that come in, and maybe I include myself in that for a certain period of time are either unfit for the job, or they just don't have the passion to get over the hump where you're like, there's going to be 2 years of eating dog poop before it even gets easier. Like how's it been for you?
It's certainly not easy. It's definitely not easy. You've got to have a bit of patience. You've got to I think, with affiliate marketing, you've got to be all in on it. You have to take it seriously and have to treat them like real websites. And I think a lot of people don't. They just see it as a kind of side hustle, and they've got that side hustle mentality. And you're the perfect example of that, to be honest.
Yep.
Where you're just like, man, I'll buy these websites and
blow like 20 grand, and then you realize it's gone down the toilet because I was absent. I didn't have,
It's, you probably thought affiliate marketing was the next big thing you wanted to get into. Probably didn't realize there was as much work involved and got busy with other things. And that happens. But again, then you have to ask yourself, well, why the fuck did I buy these websites? And is that a waste of money? Is it not? That remains to be seen. And hopefully you can recover them. And yeah, I still think you would get your money back today for the websites. However, you want to be able to scale them and make more money on them. And I think probably for someone like you, who the best way I could describe is just crazy, in terms of their brain. They're always just thinking about 100 different things and they never fully focus on the one thing. Whereas, what I'd have liked to have seen from you was to, and I know you've done it to some degree, but get your team and just say, this is what I want. This has to happen month on month, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to invest this. And I know you have invested money, but you need to invest on the website, on the link building side of things, but you also have to oversee it and stuff like that as well. And I think overseeing it and some of your processes were a bit of a failure for you. And I think you do fit into that category where you probably, shiny object syndrome, you've seen, these websites are for sale, they're a good price, I'll just buy them. And you probably go down to your mates down the pub, yeah, man, I'm affiliate marketer now, I've got affiliate websites, and, and never really done anything under the hood. So, and I think that's very, very common with a lot of people. The way I see it, though, is that would annoy me, and it still annoys me. It annoys me, even though they're not my websites any longer. I'm just like, fuck's sake, Deepak. What's going on every couple of months? Why is this not changed? And if I'm wasting my own money, I've got a problem. I don't mind wasting anyone else's, but if that's my cash, I need that to be grown.
Yeah. I guess that's it's a good point you raised, and I presume that's the nature of the. Even agency owners or anybody, as you said, you think you want something, and at the time it makes sense, and then you don't properly think, as you said, about the work that's involved on the other side, because otherwise, if you're not willing to go through that dip where there's going to be problems, it's probably not going to be worth starting it in general. So my final question then for this session about agency life, what was the number one thing that you think is really enjoyable about agency life, that is something that's fun, that's good? You didn't see that question coming?
I would see, to be honest,
it can't be nothing.
I was going to say there was absolutely nothing at all that was enjoyable. I mean, the only thing I can take as a positive from agency life is I learned a lot about becoming more of a businessman and understanding more about business in general. When I started with an agency, I didn't even know what an accountant was, didn't understand how to set up a company, didn't understand any of that kind of stuff. And I think, that's the only thing I've really taken from agency life is being able to mold myself. I wouldn't change it for the world. I had a lot of pain, tears, lost money and all that stuff. But it's obviously made me into the model that I've got today. And for that reason, I've got to, I think it's just your apprenticeship, really. I just sat in it for too long. I think I should have got out the agency quicker. I just hoped that it would get better and better when I was running it, and I'd become a multi-millionaire from it. But sadly, for the way that I was running it, the overheads were spiraling out of control and the profits were going down. Whilst we were getting new clients, overheads are increasing all the time. And I think I'd done it for a lot of the wrong reasons as well. Not for the wrong reasons as such, but when you start having an agency, you start then wanting to have multiple staff. And I was hiring people for the sheer hell of hiring people and stuff like that, because maybe I thought it looked cool to have 10, 15 staff or whatever. And I probably didn't need half of them because they were all robbing me blind and stuff. So again, it's all been just learning curves. There's been nothing really I can take that's been that enjoyable from it, though, because honestly, it was all just pulling my hair out, which is why I had to get a hair transplant. But
guys, I got one too, if you're wondering why the hell I took my hat off. So upon Craig's recommendation, he gives a lot of advice in a lot of areas. Craig, thank you, mate. I really enjoyed getting to learn more about your agency saga, and it was good to hear. I think that's one thing I do agree with you that I feel like I'm learning my apprenticeship as well. This whole experience and of running an agency, and the conversations that we've had about where you pointed out just processes, lack of processes, or how to do SEO better and managing clients and stuff. And I do think that as you said, the big upside of that process is that you learn a lot about the mechanics of how to service a client and how to try and run a business where people pay you for your time. So thank you, mate, for all of your insights. It's been fun coming on and talking to you about it again.
No worries. One last thing I want to do before we do go is Roy Cohen, primarily a link builder. How do I find higher quality clients that understand that link building isn't cheap? So much misinformation in the internet about how you can get links for free. Links don't come free, but Roy, the best thing I could advise is just look. I mean, it depends on how you market yourself. There is hiring clients out there who just want to buy links. They don't want to worry about it. So they are out there. It's how you get to these people. And there's a lot of companies out there all over the world who are desperately seeking someone who can just provide them with quality links. So do not give up. There's no right or wrong place to look for them. You just need to make them come to you, is what I've done. And that works well. But no, Deepak, I appreciate your time coming on.
That's all right, mate. And
we will be back, guys, at 2:00, where we're going to be talking with Jenny Abubaya about affiliate marketing, similar kind of style. And then I'll have other stuff throughout the day as well. But Deepak, if anyone likes you and wants to talk to you about Pearl Lemon, where the hell can we find you?
Guys, just search my name or search Pearl Lemon. I'm on Facebook as well. For those who are on Facebook, you'll find me connected to Craig. We'll be abusing each other from time to time. So just find me on Facebook, I guess, is the easiest way.
And it's pearllemon.com, which I'm just going to put here. So check out Deepak. He's a good guy, always good for a chat with, abuse him, whatever. He's good for it all. And guys, do make sure you do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And I will catch you at 2:00 for another session on SEMRush All Stars. Cheers,
see you guys. No worries.